Hi, my name is Darrell Brown, and I am into herbs. I study herbs all my life. I've been studying it for about 40 years. I give herbal advice on health and wholeness, nutrition. I am not a doctor. I am interested in making sure that we are healthy and whole. If there's anything that you are hearing from me and you want to implement, please consult your doctor before implementing, before getting off your medication, before starting a program, so that your doctor can also concur with what I am saying. Hi, today's topic is on the pancreas. I was always been very curious that whenever something happens to the pancreas and there's some kind of disease in the pancreas or there's cancer in the pancreas, it always seemed to take someone out quickly. If they say 6 months, it's 6 months. And so in my study and in my research, I found some interesting topics and reason why the pancreas takes us out so easily. So please join me as we go and explore this interesting topic. So one of the reason the pancreas is a small organ in the body, and one of its purpose is to get toxin out of our system. When we do not prepare our food properly, and so that when we eat it and the toxin build up in our system, the pancreas is one of those organs like the liver that gets toxins out of the system. Once the toxin is not out of the pancreas, and then the pancreas becomes sludged down, itself become toxic and it dies. And so we have to protect the pancreas as much as possible so that it can do its job against producing the insulin against sugary substance in our bodies. Here are some of the reasons the pancreas is affected. I have 5 foods that I will illustrate of the reasons why the pancreas is overworked. For example, saute spinach, number 1. Saute spinach with garlic. It contains nitrate, but once you reheat it a second time in the microwave, it releases nitrites. Nitrites that can become oxidative stress on the pancreas. Nitrite creates inflammation in the body, and it causes the pancreas to become overworked. Let me give you a brief explanation of nitrate and nitrites. Nitrates is good for the body. It contains iron and it contains amino acid. And so that is good for the body. But once it's heated in the microwave a second time, this wonderful salad that you made, it turns into nitrites. And that creates an oxidative stress that causes the body to become inflamed and causes the pancreas to become overworked. Once we eat this salad 2 to 3 days, the pancreas is overworked trying to detox the body. The second food that we want to talk about is French fries, fried chicken, fried fish. The reason why this particular food is not good once you heat it up in the microwave a second or third time is because of the oils that has cooked the French fries, the fish, and the chicken. The French fries, the fish, and the chicken are cooked in oil, corn oil, soybean oil, which is vegetable oil, granola oil. All these oils are considered rancid oil. One of the reasons it's considered rancid oil is because the base of these oils is from petroleum, which is gasoline. And the other products that they put in these oils is they spray it with a fragrance so it can smell nice. The reason why it becomes rancid is that once it's heated up in the microwave, the different oxidation system is broken down, and we get all kind of bacteria that causes the pancreas to become overworked, because the pancreas is now trying to get rid of the toxin of these rancid oil that has been introduced into our system. Food number 3, rice. Rice is a good food source. We can look at rice and we don't realize it contains any bacteria. But once we cook rice, the normal bacteria in rice is killed. But there's another bacteria that we do not see in rice once it's cooked. Once rice is cooked and begins to cool on our kitchen counter, it then, when it comes to a very low temperature, it produces spores that is already part of the rice system. These spores, because at room temperature is released, once we reheat rice in the microwave a second or third time, the spores are not killed by the high heat of the microwave. They stay very much alive. The normal bacteria in the rice, they're killed off and they're fine. But the spores are released, the baby spores are released, and when we eat it, it causes us to become sick and causes us to have diarrhea and so forth. And so reheating of rice is not good a second or third time. Rice should be eaten within 24 hours so that we do not cause the spores to be open up once we heat it a second or third time in the microwave. Once you reheat the rice a second or third time, the spores causes inflammation in the body, which causes the pancreas to have to go to work to detox the body of the inflammation that the rice has induced. So please eat your rice at least in 24 hours and throw away the rest so that you do not recontaminate the body. Our fourth item is chicken. Chicken has a water content, and when you heat it up in the microwave, it releases this water content, but it's not evenly distributed. Once you heat a chicken in the microwave, the top part of the chicken is very hot, but the middle part is uneven. The microwave does not distribute heat evenly in the chicken properly. And so the top part that's hot and the middle that's semi-hot is a breeding ground for bacteria, which is called salmonella poisoning. This type of bacteria that's released because of the uneven heating of the chicken causes you to have diarrhea, it causes you to have fever, and it causes you to vomit it. So the best thing to do when you have chicken, if you're going to heat it up in a microwave, the best thing to do is cut it up in small pieces so that once you reheat it in the microwave, the heat then becomes evenly distributed in the small pieces, and then you can eat it, and it will not be a breeding ground for the salmonella poisoning. Chicken, if you want to heat it up and do not want to risk the bacteria for the salmonella poisoning, it's best to eat chicken cold in a salad, add it to lettuce and tomatoes, cucumbers, and eat it cold with a wonderful dressing. The fifth food that I would like to talk about that causes the pancreas to have to become overworked is roasted potatoes. Roasted potatoes or baked potatoes. Once again, the roasted potatoes is introduced into oil. And so the oil then causes the potato to be nice and crispy. But once you heat it up in the microwave a second time, this rancid oil is released. And so the roasted potatoes then are turned into, they're already starch, but it's turned into a sticky starch and a sugary starch that is not good for the body, that creates inflammation in the body. And so the pancreas now has to become geared into being overworked and getting the body detoxed from this starchy, sugary type potato that was created a second time once we microwave it. The best thing to do with any type of potato that's left over is to also cut it up small in a salad and eat it cold with a dressing so that we do not cause our body to be inflamed and cause the pancreas to be overworked. So the takeaway with this is you got to understand that inflammation is very bad for the body. Once the body has inflammation at any rate, it affects the pancreas that causes it to overwork. It affects the liver that causes it to go into detox mode. Inflammation is also responsible for high blood pressure. Is responsible for diabetes. It's responsible for our gut, for digestion. It is responsible for our colon cancer. And just from head to toe, inflammation is responsible for dementia. Inflammation is responsible for eye disease. So inflammation is something in the body that we must control and make sure that it's at a minimum so that our body can be healthy. One of my references for this article on the pancreas and reheating it, causing it to damage the pancreas is by Dr. Michael Kent. And you can find the video on YouTube. Dr. Michael Kent is a senior health professional that gives daily health tips on the body. So the tip of the week is we cannot use the microwave. It's very dangerous because it heats food on a high frequency. It does not give us the nutritional value in the food, and it releases toxins in the food when we microwave it. So the tip of the week is, please heat your food up in an oven or in the pan, steam it, or in an air fryer. This is why we must stay healthy. We are what we eat. You must bless your food, and this is why the Bible says, bless and be healthy. Until next time, this is Herbal Moment by Red.